Hey, my name's James Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's talk rent to rent. Everything you need to know about rent to rent and getting this incredible strategy working in your property investment journey. Now, this channel is growing incredibly in the last few months, and I want to thank everyone that's subscribed already. We've got 3,000 subscribers on the channel already. We're now on the journey to 5,000. That's our next milestone that we want to hit. So can you help us get there? 70% of you watching this content aren't subscribed. So take your finger of power, turn it around, smash that subscribe button over there. Go on, do it now. Smash that subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Help us get to 5,000 subscribers. Not only that, we're getting 50,000 views, and our goal in the next couple of months is to get to 100,000 views every single month. How can you help us on that one? Well, whether you're subscribed or not, smash the like button quickly, guys. Go on, do it now. Smash it, watch it turn blue, because that pushes it out to more people on YouTube as well. So let's talk about rent to rent. Now, rent to rent, when I mention rent to people, is every single one. Literally, I'm not exaggerating here, 90% of the people that I talk about rent to rent tell me that it's illegal, right? It's illegal. And the word that they use is subletting, right? There's a really negative connotation around subletting. And you know what? They're right. Subletting a property is an illegal practice. So what I'm not telling you to do is go and rent a property from someone, not tell them, and then start renting it out to other people without their permission. That is not cool. That is not legal in any way, and you should not be doing that. But what you can do is, with their permission, run it as a serviced accommodation unit or an HMO unit. So let's talk about those two things and just see how that can work. So rent to rent. And so the first one we want to talk about is serviced accommodation, right? So that is where you're going to find a landlord. There's people renting properties on places like Gumtree. There's people renting them on Rightmove. There's tons of places. And you're going to offer them a fixed rent, right? A guaranteed rent is a better word, right? So you're going to offer them a guaranteed rent for a period of time. Now, this is good for them because they get the certainty that they're going to get the rent, right? You're also going to do a few extra things for them, taking away costs and uncertainty for them. So you're going to take on the maintenance of the property. If the boiler breaks, you'll fix it. If there's a problem with a leaky tap, you'll get somebody out to fix it. Does that make sense? And so that's the thing with serviced accommodation, right? You're going to focus on giving the landlord a better deal and the certainty. Then, with their permission, you're going to ask to run it as a corporate let business. And so then you're going to look at renting the property out on all of the portals like Booking.com, Airbnb, and various other ones, right? There's tons of them out there. So you're going to rent this out to various different people on these portals. Now, let's just say you rented this property for £1,000 a month. The type of property that you want to get for serviced accommodation normally is a flat. 2 beds are better than 1 bed. And so you're paying £1,000. You're probably going to pay 500 in bills. So you're all in for £1,500. So as long as you make £1,500 back, you've broken even, right? Now let's just say that you rented that property out for £150 a night, £150 a night. Now if you look on Airbnb, £150 a night is not that much money, particularly for a 2-bedroom place if you get it in the right area. Now who rents this? Well, obviously people going on holiday, but not just people going on holiday. There are tons of contractors. And if I'm a contractor, like I go away from business and I don't want to really stay in a hotel. If I can stay in a property, a flat, it gives me more space, doesn't it? I get a kitchen, I get a living room, I get a bedroom and a bathroom, 2 bedrooms. And maybe if 2 people stay in that property for £150, suddenly it's only £75 each. So the costs are really, really good there, and they can stay there long term and make it more of a home. So tons of people for work will use this kind of strategy now. So let's just say you get £150. You've only got to get 10 nights out of it to get your money back. But more realistically, if you do your numbers, and we can help people with this stuff, you can easily get 70% occupancy, which means that it's not unrealistic to look at making at least £1,000 a month profit from this kind of deal, right? So that's one way that you can use rent to rent, is via serviced accommodation. And it's a very, very, very powerful thing to do. Now, another way that's a little easier, less moving parts, is to rent a house from somebody and then turn things like living rooms and dining rooms into additional bedrooms. So say you, for example, took £1,000 house on rent, which you can get in Birmingham or North, and then you looked at turning the 3-bedroom house into a 5-bedroom HMO. So how do you turn a living room into a bedroom? You just put a bed in it, right? It's pretty simple. You just put a bed in it. A little bit more in that, but you need to know the legislation and stuff like that. And you need to check that it's not in an Article 4 area. So some towns, you can just speak to the local council and see if you can run HMOs in that town. If you can't, pick a town that you can, right? Or you could take a property on that is already licensed to be an HMO and the landlord's just tired of running it and you've got fresh legs in there and you want to get that property sorted. So let's just say it's £1,000, same, it's going to be around £1,500 with the bills, give or take. You rent out 5 rooms for £500, sorry. Oh, 500. That gives you 2,500. So again, you can make £1,000 on that property per month. Now, actually, if you pick the right areas, it's quite easy to get like 600 rent now. And obviously things like the gas and electric have got more expensive, the bills that you're paying. And so that's why you charge 600 for a room instead. But using these strategies, you don't own the properties, right? Which is important to understand. You don't own the properties, you're controlling the properties, right? A ton of businesses do this. Places like Regus, places like WeWork, they don't actually own the offices, but they then rent it out, they make it nice and they rent it out as their own property, right? That's what we're doing here, but we're doing it for residential purposes. Now, these are high cash flowing strategies and they're really good to get you started in property. And there are lots of people that maybe have 5, 10 or even 100 of these kind of deals and make very, very good money by doing this type of strategy. Now, things like the serviced accommodation, you can learn and get educated on how to make sure that you get cleaners in on time and it all runs efficiently. There's software that can price your room for you, get the room rented out faster for you. And all of these things working together mean that you can make a lot more money here than you would on a vanilla buy-to-let, right? So if you were to buy a 100 grand house and the mortgage on that would be, let's just say roughly £300, and a 100 grand house, you'd probably get 575 rent. So with that, you're only making 275 profit. You've got to get 4 of those to make the same money as these higher cash flowing strategies. And so that's the thing with property, guys. You've got to really understand all the different strategies, and different people will be different. Some people just want a vanilla buy-to-let. They just want an easy life. They might not make as much money per house, but they know an estate agent can run it. It's straightforward. It's very, very easy. Maybe they want to do a bit more work and make more cash. So an HMO strategy could work well for them. This isn't loads of work because tenants may live there for 6 months. They may live there for a year. They're not going to live there for 10 years, unlikely, but they're going to be longer term than the serviced accommodation business. But with the serviced accommodation business, there are more opportunities out there. There's a lot more flats out there that struggle to rent that you can take off somebody, and then that can be a way that you can do really, really well in property. So those are the things that you need to do. Now, compliance-wise, you've got to get legal with this, right? So when you get the property, you have to have the right contract in place. An estate agent can help you with that to make sure you have permission to rent. If you don't, that's a problem. You can also take these properties on for a longer period of time. Maybe you take it on for 5 years rather than 1. That's a benefit to the landlord, isn't it? And then you have a break clause. You say, look, if it doesn't work out in 6 months, I'll give the property back. you rent it out as you were looking to do previously. So that's another consideration here. Really, really important. Now, serviced accommodation, you've got to check the area. You've got to check as well, because in London, you can only rent out for 90 days a year, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Other towns don't have that, right? There are tons that don't have that sort of strategy in there. With HMOs, you've got to make sure it's not in an Article 4 area. You've got to make sure that you've got the fire safety regulations up to date on that, and maybe that landlord and you can come to a deal to make sure that that's good. Fire extinguishers, fire alarms, all those sorts of things. But it's not difficult, and don't let this put you off. The fact is that these strategies are very good at making good cash flow. So I'd love to know your thoughts. I probably missed a ton of stuff, but we cover lots of things on rent to rent. So if you're interested in this sort of strategy, do keep watching my channel by subscribing and hitting the bell. Go and check out all the other videos on rent to rent on this channel. And do check out in the description, we're running a live event in London, and I'd love to invite you to come along and join us on that live event. So click in the link, fill in the details, and come and meet us. That's it from me. I'm James Nicholson. Check out all the other content on my channel, including this video right here.